This is a visual learning aid to help you recall information associated with the platysma. Before I go over this image and how it should help you recall information associated with the platysma, I'd first like to begin by discussing some of the characteristics of the muscle on the anatomical model shown here. So the platysma is this muscle that's highlighted in red. It's a very thin, sheet-like muscle on the anterior surface of the neck. It originates from fascia, and that's connective tissue, associated with the pectoralis major muscle, as well as a muscle in the acromial region, that's the shoulder region, known as the deltoid. It then makes its way up, again very superficially, towards the lower jaw, where it inserts on a bone known as the mandible. And its insertion point is not only this bone, but also skin, subcutaneous tissue, and some of the muscles associated with the lower face and the mouth. So its insertion points include some muscles, such as the orbicularis oris, and this is this muscle that encircles the lips. In terms of its actions, the platysma draws the lower lip and the angle of the mouth downward in an expression of horror, surprise, or strain. It can also pull down the mandible to assist in opening the mouth widely. To assist with memorizing these features, I've developed the following visual learning tool. So here you have a representation of Platy the platypus. And Platy is that guy at the gym. And what I mean by that guy is he's that guy who loves to work out, but he really wants to only work out one or maybe two muscle groups. So as you can see, our friend Platy here has pretty scrawny legs. He doesn't have well-defined abs. His arms are pretty skinny as well, but he's got very large defined pecs as well as very large defined deltoid muscles. In terms of his favorite gym to go to, he loves to go to Mandy's gym, and the exercise that he loves to do the most of all is to use this pull-down apparatus where he can do butterflies. And so again, he can pull down these cables, and that helps him work out his pecs. No matter how much weight he's lifting, he always has this expression or this grimace as though he is lifting the absolute maximum amount of weight that the machine can carry. So hopefully this image will help you recall the information that we just spoke of regarding the platysma. So first of all, here we have a platypus. So the term platysma and platypus are actually derived from the same Greek prefix, platy, which means flat or broad. So again, if you can remember Platy the platypus, hopefully that will help you remember the name of the muscle, the platysma. The other thing is he has very large pecs and deltoid muscles, and this should help you recall the origin of the platysma, which is the fascia of the pectoralis major and the deltoid. In terms of the points of insertion, he likes to work out at Mandy's gym, and remember the mandible was the point of insertion, as well as skin and subcutaneous tissue of the lower face. So to help remember that, as well as the action, if you look at his neck, you'll notice the look of strain in his neck, as well as the grimace that he has with his lower jaw. So remember, the action of this muscle is to draw the lower lip and the angle of the muscle downward. And when you do that, when you compress or when you contract the platysma, effectively you can see it not only in the expression on the face, but you can also see its fibers running through the neck, as illustrated here. Again, lastly, his favorite exercise is to do the pull down. So if you remember this, hopefully it'll help you remember that the platysma pulls down or draws down the lower lip, and it can also pull down the mandible. To recap, the features of this image to help you recall the characteristics of the platysma are first of all the fact that you have Platy the platypus. So the platypus should help you recall the platysma. He has enlarged pecs and deltoid muscles, which will help you recall the origin. His favorite gym to work out is Mandy's gym to help you recall the insertion point of the mandible. And he's using a pull-down apparatus, and he has an expression of strain on his face to help you remember the action of the muscle.